I can define homelessness in one way, which would basically be a derivation of people in a situation in which they lack anything we would call an appropriate home or roof over their heads. And in terms of like government agencies and stuff, that's typically what they do. What really matters, I think, is that we use the noun homelessness or the adjective homeless to describe a whole bunch of very different individuals who might be able to be collected together into subpopulations, but each of whom is truly their own person with their own story. What we see here in terms of general trends would include domestic violence, would include drug and alcohol addiction, would include major mental illness, family breakup sort of issues, all held together with poverty. And the single thing underneath all of it is lack of resources.
My role was on the finance committee. Me and a group of members, others from BRLI, got together, and our primary responsibility was to get corporate sponsorship and also sell raffle tickets and at the event help sign people in.
I got involved with BRLI as a way of getting more connected with the community. I'm relatively new to town and wanted to meet people, see what's going on, and get outside of my usual shell.
I've had several opportunities to participate. One on the mentoring side. I was early on a part of that, and I've sort of transitioned to the starting points as my contribution.
Primarily my role for the project was to keep the mentoring program rolling forward. We're now calling it the Connections program. So trying to coordinate meetings and follow up, that's really where I've spent most of my time with the project.
My role has been to try to get the word out about the event and try to hand out flyers, and I'm trying to work with businesses to see if we can get some of their employees, if they can contribute some of their employees on that Saturday. Try to have them come out, march, all that stuff.
I was really glad that I could use my own profession to help with the class project. I do publicity as part of my writing business, and I was on the publicity committee for the Hike for the Homeless. And in addition to that, I tracked down transcripts for the Listen to This audio series on WERU.
My role in the class project for the Bangor Area Homeless Shelter was to help the Starting Points Committee. I will be working in Hamden on the day of the hike, helping to organize things, making sure everyone's where they need to be, and we'll go from there.
My role in the class project for the Bangor Area Homeless Shelter was to help with documentation. We were trying to put together a master operations plan for the Hike for the Homeless, and one of the things is trying to put together timelines and documentation. I'm also assisting Stephanie with the transcripts. We are working on getting those transcribed into a book that the shelter could sell as a future fundraiser.
You know, when we think about BRLI, I didn't know all the work that it was going to entail, and I am just so happy that we were able to include some of the students from Hudson and NESCOM in helping out, and it has been a great help, and we're very thankful for the students that has been involved in this project.
I'm Dennis Marble, the Executive Director of the Bangor Area Homeless Shelter, and have been here since January of '96. The shelter was opened on Christmas Eve in 1986 as a 12-bed, volunteer-supervised, overnight-only shelter.
The thing that most amazed me during the course of this that I learned about homelessness was the day when BRLI class was at the homeless shelter for a tour. We had a panel of residents speaking to us about their experiences. And they talked about the difficulty and the almost full-time job that it was to get the social services that they need. And if they're spending all their time getting services, when do they have time to do the other things that they'll need to climb out of homelessness?
I think our class could help the public understand that homelessness is very complicated and multifaceted.
Homelessness has a lot of different stories, a lot of different roots. There's no one thing that can be pointed to, but I think it's one of the more intransigent problems that we have as a society.
I've learned that, even though I think I already knew, but it's something that you don't normally, I guess, process on a day-to-day basis, it's not a choice. And it's, in a lot of cases, it's nothing they can do anything about.
You can't assume that you know what the situation is and what the answer is right away.
Sometimes it could be substance abuse.
There's the chronically homeless, for example.
Mental health.
Many different factors.
There are a lot of different faces to it and as many solutions as there are faces.
I've learned about homelessness that it does have a face and that we are all like one paycheck away from being homeless. It could be you, it could be me.
In this short amount of time that I've had exposure to it, I've learned that it's not a sometime thing, it's not a once in a while thing, rather it's an all the time thing.
A person who's homeless, I think, really is a lot like your average person. You know, they have the same hopes and dreams and goals in their life, but, you know, through situations that's specific to each person, you know, they've had a much harder time in reaching those goals, and, you know, through one series of events to another, they wind up homeless.
It isn't just limited to a select few that don't want to try. A lot of them have gone through something in their lives that have prevented them from being the type of person they want to be.
The other thing that's really kind of smacked me in the face is that as a country, we're doing a poor job with mental health services.
I've seen in my 14 plus years a world in which the provision of homeless services has been, quote, professionalized, but I don't think it has really reduced the number of homeless people that the shelters in the state are trying to accommodate. If anything, just the opposite. And so while I'm very proud of this shelter and the people who work in it, I'm a little bit leery about the fact that we've now sort of said collectively, I think without meaning to, this is what we want. We've institutionalized homeless shelters, even though they're still disconnected from each other, and it's a more normal expectation that it's okay that they exist and that people live in them.
We need to concentrate on solving the problem before it starts.
Basically, you know, a lot of things you may think about it, you know, they just may not be true.
We need to really educate ourselves and understand that it's much more complex than seeing a bunch of people standing down there in front of the shelter smoking cigarettes.
I think we can tell them that it's not going away, and that you need to step up and be a part of the solution.
Even though it's easier to just give money, sometimes it's better to give your time.
This shelter continues to exist due to the support of the private local community more than any other source of support or funding.
Get involved to actually step out the comforts of their own lives and
Just get involved. I mean, seek out opportunities where you can help.
We tend to make judgments, but education is a big thing. Dennis and his staff down there can tell people a lot about homelessness, and volunteering and getting to know some of the individuals will help with people's education.
My experience in BRLI has been really an education for me in understanding what the community, group of people can do when they put their minds to it. We're using a lot of resources that I didn't really know that were out there to begin with. I didn't know the students at NESCOM were putting this on. And there's sort of several other resources that we've all sort of come together, used our companies, used our organizations to pull together and really make something happen. It's really encouraging. It gives me a little bit of hope, I think, that with other issues we could tackle and move ahead and see if we can get something done.
My BRLI experience has introduced me to the community in Bangor, probably at a rate 10 times faster than I would have on my own. Being new to the area, it's really propelled that.
BRLI has been a great exposure to a lot of different areas of the community. It's been a great way of meeting people who are in industries other than my own and in different social circles than my own. And it's just incredibly broadening of horizons to have the exposure to all the different industries and different folks and all the different things that are going on in the Bangor region.
My experience with BRLI has allowed me to reconnect with the community. I grew up here, but I've been gone for about 28 years, so this class has allowed me to meet people and to see what resources are currently existing in the Bangor area. And it's just been a lot of fun. I met some great people, and I'm looking forward to keeping the friendships.
My BRLI experience has been really fun. I've enjoyed the tours. The networking that I've done has been incredible. Most of these people that I've met, I don't know that I would have met otherwise. People from all different positions throughout the region, and the leadership skills that I'm learning I think will really help as I advance in my position.
Well, it's been very knowledgeable. Certainly I've learned a lot, but overall the essential thematic content is that it has been absolutely marvelous.
To sum up my BRLI experience, I've been thrilled to have the opportunity to go visit different industries in the area that I knew very little, if anything, about.
Because of BRLI, I suddenly feel connected all over town. I have people. I know who to call. I know people in banking and in insurance and in the healthcare industry and in communications, and not only my own class, but the alumni also. I feel like I can find out that someone's a BRLI alum and call up and say, hey, I'm a BRLI alum too, and I have this problem. Can you help me figure out this information? Or can you tell me where to go for this service that I need? So I feel connected, and that is the reason I joined BRLI, and that has proven to be incredibly valuable.
I think it was fantastic. I'm coming from Portland and seeing what's going on in this area, things I never would have imagined, places I wouldn't have been able to go if I hadn't been involved in this. And I've met some great people, been some great places, and now I want my work to have a gym like Jackson Lab.
My BRLI experience has been a really good one. It's given me the opportunity to get an insight into innovative businesses and activities in the area, and educational opportunities in the area, and to meet people from different organizations and professions and things that I just never would have had the opportunity to learn about these things and meet these people, and it's really been great for that.
I have had a great time with BRLI, getting a chance to learn more about my community, and I've met some really great people who I hope to be keeping in touch with both personally and professionally.
My experience with BRLI has been great. I've met a lot of new people. The tours that we went on and the people we met in different industries have really broadened my horizons. Not only have I met new people for contacts, we've met new friends, got a lot of information about different fields that I wouldn't normally know about. So I can take those experiences with me after the class, something that will stay with me.
My BRLI experience has been a wonderful journey. It has empowered me with tools that I need to be a good leader. And when I say a good leader, I mean lead more with compassion. Lead more with compassion and an open heart. Because it seems like, we're all in this thing together. And what I mean by thing, I mean life.